Hello everyone. It is truly wonderful to have you join me today. We are about to delve into a topic that touches each and every one of us, especially as we navigate the journey of aging, the health of our amazing brains. Our brains are the command centers of our lives, responsible for our memories, our thoughts, our feelings, and our ability to connect with the world around us. Keeping our brains sharp and healthy is not just about avoiding big, scary illnesses. It is about maintaining our independence, our joy, and our quality of life for as long as possible. You might be surprised to learn that many of the foods we regularly enjoy, often without a second thought, could be quietly working against our brain health. We are not talking about exotic, rare ingredients here. We are talking about common items found in almost every grocery store, in many kitchens, and on countless dinner tables across the country. These are what I call the silent killers of brain health. They do not cause immediate dramatic damage, but over months and years, their cumulative effects can subtly, yet significantly, erode our cognitive abilities. They can make our memories fuzzier, our thinking slower, and even increase our risk for more serious brain conditions as we get older. Now, before we go any further, I must make something very clear. The information I am sharing with you today is for general understanding and educational purposes only. It is designed to empower you with knowledge so you can make more informed choices about your diet. However, your health is unique. You have your own medical history, your own specific needs, and your own doctor who knows you best. Please always discuss any significant dietary changes or health concerns with your personal physician or a registered dietitian. They are your trusted partners in navigating your health journey, and their advice is tailored specifically for you. Today, we are going to shine a light on 10 of these common culprits. We will uncover why they are problematic for your brain, where they tend to hide in your daily diet, and most importantly, what simple, delicious alternatives you can choose instead. My goal is not to scare you, but to equip you with practical, actionable knowledge that can help you protect your most valuable asset, your brain. So please, stay with me. Let us embark on this important discussion together and learn how to feed our brains for a healthier, sharper future. Now, let us talk a little more about why our diet plays such a critical role in brain health. Imagine your brain as a highly complex, sophisticated city that is always bustling with activity. It needs a constant, reliable supply of energy, building materials and maintenance crews to function optimally. When we eat, the nutrients from our food are absorbed into our bloodstream, and then they travel throughout our body, including up to our brain. Think of your blood as the delivery service for this city. What you put into your body directly influences the quality of the supplies arriving at your brain's doorstep. One of the biggest issues is something called inflammation. You might think of inflammation as the swelling and pain you feel when you twist an ankle. But inflammation can also happen inside your body, even in your brain, without you necessarily feeling pain. This is often called neuroinflammation. Certain foods can trigger a low-grade chronic inflammation throughout your body, including your brain. This constant simmering inflammation can damage delicate brain cells and pathways over time. It is like having tiny, persistent fires burning in your brain city, slowly eroding its structures and making it harder for the different parts to communicate effectively. Another concept is oxidative stress. You know how an apple turns brown when you cut it and leave it exposed to the air? That is oxidation. The same kind of process can happen at a microscopic level within your body's cells, including your brain cells. This is called oxidative stress. It is like rust forming on the delicate machinery of your brain. Our bodies have natural defenses against this rust, but certain foods can overload these defenses, leading to damage to brain cells, proteins, and even our DNA. This damage can accumulate, making our brain less efficient and more vulnerable to problems like memory loss and cognitive decline. Then there is the issue of blood sugar regulation. Your brain relies almost entirely on glucose, a type of sugar, for its energy. But it needs a steady supply, not wild roller coasters of highs and lows. When we eat foods that cause our blood sugar to spike quickly, our body has to release a lot of insulin to bring it back down. Over time, this constant demand for insulin can lead to something called insulin resistance. When brain cells become insulin resistant, they struggle to take in the glucose they need, essentially starving in an environment of plenty. This can impair brain function and increase the risk of cognitive decline. Imagine the energy supply to your brain city becoming unreliable, with sudden power surges followed by brownouts. That is what erratic blood sugar can do. Finally, let us consider the blood-brain barrier. This is a highly selective filter that protects your brain from harmful substances in your blood while allowing essential nutrients to pass through. Think of it as a very strong security wall around your brain city. Certain foods, particularly highly processed ones, can compromise the integrity of this barrier, making it leaky. When the blood-brain barrier becomes leaky, unwanted substances can sneak into the brain, causing damage and inflammation. It is like having breaches in your city's security wall, allowing invaders to enter and cause disruption. The key takeaway here is that the foods we eat have a profound and cumulative impact. It is not usually about one single meal or one single food item. It is about the patterns of eating we develop over years. Small, seemingly harmless choices made consistently can add up to significant effects on our brain health over time. But the good news is, just as these foods can silently harm, healthier choices can silently heal and protect. By understanding which foods to limit and which to embrace, you can take powerful steps to safeguard your cognitive vitality for years to come. Now, let us get to the heart of the matter. It is time to reveal the 10 common foods that, when consumed regularly, can quietly but significantly harm your brain. For each food, we will talk about why it is a problem, where it often hides, and what you can choose instead. Sugary drinks, the sweet deception. Let us start with a big one, sugary drinks. This includes sodas, most fruit juices that are not 100% natural and have added sugars, energy drinks, and sweetened teas or coffees. These beverages are perhaps one of the most insidious silent killers because they provide a massive dose of sugar without any fiber or nutrients to slow down its absorption. Why they are a silent killer. The primary issue with sugary drinks is their incredibly high sugar content, particularly added sugars and high fructose corn syrup. When you consume these drinks, your body is hit with a rapid influx of sugar. This causes your blood sugar levels to spike dramatically and then often crash shortly after. This rapid rise and fall is highly disruptive to your brain's energy supply, as we discussed earlier. Over time, this roller coaster of blood sugar can lead to insulin resistance in the brain, impairing its ability to use glucose for energy. It can also increase inflammation and oxidative stress, directly damaging brain cells and pathways involved in memory and learning. Research has linked high consumption of sugary drinks to a higher risk of dementia and reduced brain volume, meaning your brain can actually shrink over time. Where they hide. Sugary drinks are obvious in sodas, but they are also abundant in many fruit drinks that are not 100% juice, sweetened iced teas, sports drinks, and even specialty coffee drinks with syrups and added flavors. Many people believe fruit juice is healthy, but commercially prepared fruit juices often contain as much, if not more, sugar than a can of soda, without the fiber that whole fruit provides to slow absorption. Practical examples, comparisons. A single 12-ounce can of regular soda can contain anywhere from 35 to 40 grams of added sugar. To put that into perspective, that is roughly 9 to 10 teaspoons of sugar. Imagine spooning 9 to 10 teaspoons of sugar directly into a glass of water. That is what you are consuming. The American Heart Association recommends that most women limit their added sugar intake to no more than 25 grams, about 6 teaspoons per day, and men to no more than 36 grams, about 9 teaspoons per day. So one can of soda alone can push you over or right up to your daily recommended limit for added sugar. A standard 16-ounce sweetened iced tea from a chain restaurant might have 40 to 60 grams of sugar, which is like eating 10 to 15 sugar cubes in one sitting. Healthier alternatives, swaps. The absolute best alternative is plain water. If you find plain water boring, try infusing it with slices of lemon, lime, cucumber, mint, or berries for a natural, refreshing flavor. Unsweetened sparkling water with a splash of 100% real fruit juice, like cranberry or orange, can also be a good option. Herbal teas, either hot or cold without added sugar, are another excellent choice. If you enjoy coffee, try it black or with a little milk, rather than opting for sugary lattes and frappuccinos. Refined carbohydrates, the empty fuel. Next on our list are refined carbohydrates. These are found in foods like white bread, white pasta, sugary cereals, pastries, cakes, and many processed snacks like crackers and chips. The refining process strips away the beneficial fiber, vitamins, and minerals that are found in whole grains. Why they are a silent killer. Just like sugary drinks, refined carbohydrates are quickly broken down into glucose in your body, leading to rapid spikes in blood sugar. Because they lack fiber, there is nothing to slow this process down. This constant roller coaster of blood sugar and insulin can lead to the same problems we discussed: insulin resistance, inflammation, and oxidative stress, all of which damage brain cells and impair cognitive function. Chronic high blood sugar has been linked to a higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes, which itself is a significant risk factor for Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. Some scientists even refer to Alzheimer's disease as type 3 diabetes because of the strong link between insulin resistance and brain health. Foods high in refined carbs also tend to be low in essential brain-supporting nutrients like B vitamins and magnesium, leaving your brain undernourished. Where they hide. They are obvious in white bread and sugary cereals, but also in many seemingly innocent foods like flavored instant oatmeal, most commercial baked goods, muffins, cookies, cakes, pizza crusts, pretzels, and even many breakfast bars labeled as healthy. Practical examples comparisons. A single slice of white bread typically contains very little fiber, often less than 1 gram. In contrast, a slice of 100% whole wheat bread can have 2 to 3 grams of fiber. This difference might seem small, but it adds up. If you eat 2 slices of white bread for a sandwich, you are getting less than 2 grams of fiber, while 2 slices of whole wheat bread could give you 4 to 6 grams, which significantly slows down sugar absorption. For reference, the recommended daily fiber intake for adults is about 25–30 grams. Eating refined carbs makes it very difficult to reach this crucial target. A small bowl of many popular sugary breakfast cereals can contain 15 to 20 grams of added sugar, which is roughly the same amount of sugar you would find in 5 or 6 sugar cubes. Healthier alternatives, or swaps, choose whole grains whenever possible. Opt for 100% whole wheat bread, whole wheat pasta, brown rice, quinoa, oats, not instant flavored ones, and other ancient grains like farro or barley. Look for labels that say 100% whole grain as the first ingredient. Instead of sugary cereals, choose plain rolled oats and add your own fruit, like berries, nuts, and a touch of cinnamon for flavor. For snacks, swap crackers for whole grain versions, or even better, reach for fresh vegetables with hummus, nuts, or seeds. Processed meats, the preserved problem. Processed meats include items like bacon, sausages, hot dogs, deli meats, such as ham, turkey, bologna, salami, and beef jerky. These meats are often preserved through curing, salting, smoking, or adding chemical preservatives. Why they are a silent killer. Processed meats are problematic for several reasons that impact brain health. Firstly, they are typically very high in unhealthy saturated fats and sodium, which can contribute to high blood pressure and cholesterol levels, both of which are risk factors for reduced blood flow to the brain and cognitive decline. Secondly, and more critically, they often contain nitrates and nitrites, which are used as preservatives. When these compounds are consumed, they can form harmful chemicals called nitrosamines in your body. Nitrosamines are known to be carcinogenic, cancer-causing, and have been linked to oxidative stress and inflammation, which can damage brain cells. Some research suggests a link between high consumption of processed meats and an increased risk of dementia. Furthermore, the high heat cooking methods often used for these meats, like frying bacon, can create advanced glycation end products, AGEs, which also contribute to inflammation and oxidative stress in the brain. Where they hide, they are obvious in breakfast meats and deli sandwiches. They also hide in many frozen meals, prepackaged salads, and even some seemingly healthy-looking wraps or sandwiches from convenience stores. Practical examples are comparisons. A single serving of bacon, about 3 slices, can contain around 400–500 milligrams of sodium. That is nearly 20% of the recommended daily limit of 2,300 milligrams for most adults. To put that in perspective, a single small bag of potato chips might contain a similar amount of sodium. So 3 slices of bacon alone can contribute a significant portion of your daily sodium, potentially elevating blood pressure, which harms brain blood vessels. A standard hot dog can contain over 500 milligrams of sodium and about 10 to 15 grams of fat, much of it unhealthy saturated fat, roughly equivalent to the fat and sodium found in a handful of a greasy fast food burger. Healthier alternatives, charge swaps, opt for fresh, lean protein sources. Instead of bacon, try Canadian bacon, which is typically leaner pork loin, or a plant-based bacon alternative made from mushrooms or tempeh. For sandwiches, choose fresh roasted turkey or chicken breast, lean cuts of beef, or plant-based options like hummus and avocado. Eggs, beans, lentils, and fish are all excellent brain-friendly protein sources that can replace processed meats in your diet. Trans fats and partially hydrogenated oils, the artery cloggers. Trans fats, also known as partially hydrogenated oils, are artificially created fats found in many processed foods. They are made by adding hydrogen to liquid vegetable oils, which makes them solid at room temperature and extends the shelf life of food products. Why they are a silent killer? Trans fats are arguably the worst type of fat for your overall health, including your brain. They are notorious for raising your bad LDL cholesterol levels and lowering your good HDL cholesterol levels, which dramatically increases your risk of heart disease and stroke. What is bad for your heart is almost always bad for your brain, because a healthy blood flow is crucial for brain function. Trans fats promote inflammation throughout the body, including the brain, and contribute to oxidative stress. This chronic inflammation and damage can impair memory and cognitive function. Studies have consistently linked higher consumption of trans fats to a decline in memory, slower reaction times, and an increased risk of dementia. They literally make your brain's blood vessels less flexible and more prone to blockages, suffocating brain cells. Where they hide. While many countries and regions have banned or restricted trans fats, they can still be found in some processed foods, especially older formulations or products from regions with less strict regulations. Common culprits include commercially baked goods like cakes, cookies, donuts, and pies, fried foods like French fries and fried chicken from some fast food restaurants, margarine, non-dairy creamers, microwave popcorn, and some frozen pizzas and ready-to-bake dough products. Always check the ingredient list for partially hydrogenated oil. Practical examples, comparisons. Even small amounts of trans fats are harmful, and there is no safe level of consumption. The World Health Organization recommends eliminating trans fats entirely from the food supply. Just 2 grams of trans fats per day can significantly increase your risk of heart disease. A single serving of some older formulations of microwave popcorn or certain types of commercially baked cookies could contain 1 to 2 grams of trans fat. That is like consuming the equivalent of the trans fats found in several sticks of margarine from the past, or a serving of fried fast food from decades ago, which is enough to begin harming your cardiovascular system and subsequently, your brain. Think of it this way: If a food contains partially hydrogenated oil, even if the nutrition label says 0G trans fat, due to a loophole where less than 0.5 g per serving can be rounded down, it still contains this harmful substance. Healthier alternatives, swaps. The best approach is to avoid foods containing partially hydrogenated oil in their ingredient list. Choose healthy fats instead: avocados, nuts, seeds, olive oil, and fatty fish, like salmon and mackerel. For baking, use real butter in moderation, or healthy oils like olive oil or avocado oil instead of margarine. Opt for fresh, homemade baked goods where you control the ingredients, or choose reputable brands that clearly state 0G trans fat and do not list partially hydrogenated oils. Excessive sodium, the silent pressure cooker. Sodium, primarily from salt, is essential for bodily functions in small amounts. However, most people consume far too much, primarily from processed and pre-packaged foods. Why it is a silent killer? High sodium intake is directly linked to high blood pressure, also known as hypertension. High blood pressure is a leading risk factor for stroke, and it also puts tremendous strain on the delicate blood vessels that supply your brain. Over time, this constant pressure can damage these vessels, making them narrower, less flexible, and more prone to blockages or even ruptures. This impairs blood flow to the brain, depriving brain cells of oxygen and nutrients, which can lead to cognitive decline, memory problems, and even vascular dementia. High sodium can also contribute to water retention and inflammation, further stressing your system. Where it hides. Sodium is not just in salty snacks like chips and pretzels. It is alarmingly high in many processed foods where you might not expect it, such as canned soups, frozen dinners, processed cheeses, cured meats, sauces like soy sauce, salad dressings and ketchup, bread, and even some breakfast cereals. Restaurant meals are also notorious for their high sodium content. Practical examples, comparisons. The recommended daily sodium intake for most adults is no more than 2,300 milligrams, and ideally even less for those with high blood pressure, around 1,500 milligrams. To put that into perspective, 1 teaspoon of salt contains about 2,300 milligrams of sodium. So your entire daily allowance of sodium can be met with just 1 teaspoon of salt. A single serving of many canned soups can contain anywhere from 600 to 900 milligrams of sodium, which is about 1/3 to almost half of your entire daily recommended limit. This is similar to the sodium content of a large order of fast food French fries or a substantial portion of a frozen pizza. A typical frozen dinner might pack 1,000 to 1,500 milligrams of sodium, easily consuming half or more of your daily budget in one meal. Even seemingly innocent foods like a slice of store-bought bread can have 150-200 milligrams of sodium. Healthier alternatives, swaps. The best way to reduce sodium is to cook more meals at home from scratch, using fresh ingredients. Season your food with herbs, spices, lemon juice, or vinegar, instead of relying heavily on salt. When buying packaged foods, always check the nutrition label and choose low sodium, reduced sodium, or no salt added versions. Rinse canned beans and vegetables to remove some sodium. Limit your consumption of processed meats, pre-packaged meals, and restaurant food, which are often hidden sodium bombs. Artificial sweeteners, the confusing calories. Artificial sweeteners are substances used to sweeten foods and drinks without adding significant calories or sugar. Common examples include aspartame, sucralose, saccharin, and acesulfame potassium. They are found in diet sodas, sugar-free candies, yogurts, and many other processed foods. Why they are a silent killer. While artificial sweeteners were initially thought to be a healthy alternative to sugar, growing research suggests they may have their own set of problems for brain health. One theory is that they can disrupt the gut microbiome, the community of bacteria in your intestines. A healthy gut is increasingly recognized as vital for a healthy brain through the gut-brain axis. An imbalanced gut microbiome can lead to inflammation that affects the brain. Furthermore, some studies suggest that artificial sweeteners may confuse the brain's response to sweetness. They provide a sweet taste without the expected calories, which can disrupt satiety signals and potentially lead to increased cravings for sweet foods, ironically contributing to weight gain and blood sugar dysregulation over time. There is also research suggesting a link between frequent consumption of diet sodas and an increased risk of stroke and dementia, though more research is needed to fully understand the mechanisms. Some animal studies have shown that certain artificial sweeteners might even directly impact cognitive function and memory. Where they hide, they are most commonly found in diet soft drinks and sugar-free chewing gum, candies, desserts, and yogurts. They can also be in seemingly healthy protein powders, granola bars, and certain prepared meals labeled as low sugar or keto-friendly. Practical examples, comparisons. While artificial sweeteners themselves do not have grams of sugar to compare directly, their impact can be understood in terms of consumption habits. If someone switches from regular soda to diet soda, they might consume 0 grams of added sugar from that specific drink. However, if that leads them to crave more sweet foods, or if it disrupts their gut health, the overall impact might not be beneficial for brain health. A single packet of an artificial sweetener might replace a teaspoon of sugar, saving you 4 grams of sugar. But if you consume several diet drinks or sugar-free products daily, the cumulative effect of the artificial sweeteners themselves on your gut and brain signaling can be significant. The idea is that substituting artificial sweeteners for sugar might not be the free pass for brain health that many people assume it is. Healthier alternatives are swaps. The best alternative is to retrain your palate to enjoy less sweetness overall. Choose plain water, unsweetened tea, or coffee. If you need a touch of sweetness, use small amounts of natural sweeteners like real fruit, a tiny bit of honey, maple syrup, or stevia, a natural plant-derived sweetener, in moderation. Gradually reduce the amount of sweetener you use over time. Focus on whole, unprocessed foods that are naturally flavorful without needing intense sweetness. Alcohol, excessive consumption. The toxic overload. While moderate alcohol consumption, 1 drink per day for women, up to 2 for men, has sometimes been linked to certain health benefits, excessive alcohol consumption is unequivocally harmful to the brain. Why it is a silent killer. Alcohol is a neurotoxin, meaning it is directly toxic to brain cells. Chronic heavy drinking can lead to brain damage, including significant shrinkage of brain tissue, especially in areas vital for memory, learning, and decision-making. It can impair communication between brain cells and disrupt neurotransmitter systems, leading to cognitive impairment, memory loss, and a condition known as alcohol-related dementia. Alcohol also depletes essential B vitamins, particularly thiamine, vitamin B1, which is crucial for brain function. A deficiency in thiamine can lead to severe neurological disorders like Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, characterized by confusion, memory loss, and coordination problems. Furthermore, excessive alcohol consumption can contribute to liver damage, which can lead to a buildup of toxins in the blood that can cross the blood-brain barrier and further damage the brain. It also disrupts sleep patterns, which are vital for brain repair and memory consolidation. Where it hides. This is less about hiding and more about the amount. Regular heavy drinking or even binge drinking episodes can cause cumulative damage. This includes daily large glasses of wine, multiple beers, or several spirits. Practical examples, comparisons. What constitutes excessive can vary by individual, but generally, for women, more than 1 standard drink per day is considered excessive. A standard drink is defined as 12 ounces of regular beer, about 1 can, 5 ounces of wine, a typical glass, or 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits, a shot of liquor. For men, more than 2 standard drinks per day is considered excessive. Binge drinking, defined as consuming 4 or more drinks for women or 5 or more drinks for men on a single occasion, is also very damaging to the brain, even if it does not happen daily. Consuming, for example, 4 12-ounce beers nightly is equivalent to taking in a steady stream of brain-damaging toxins, dramatically exceeding healthy limits and putting your brain under constant stress. This amount is far more harmful than, for instance, a single 5-ounce glass of wine, which may not cause significant issues for most people. The key is understanding that cumulative effect and the direct toxic burden it places on your brain. Healthier alternatives, swaps. The simplest advice for brain health regarding alcohol is moderation, or ideally, abstention if you have a history of heavy drinking or other health concerns. If you choose to drink, stick to the recommended limits. For social occasions, consider sparkling water with a twist of lemon, non-alcoholic beers or wines or creative mocktails. Find other ways to relax and de-stress that do not involve alcohol, such as exercise, reading, hobbies, or spending time with loved ones. High fructose corn syrup, HFCS, the processed sugar bomb. High fructose corn syrup, HFCS, is a highly refined sweetener derived from cornstarch. It is widely used in the food industry due to its low cost and sweetening properties. While chemically similar to table sugar, its processing and prevalent use make it a particular concern. Why it is a silent killer. HFCS is problematic for many of the same reasons as added sugar, but some research suggests it may have even more detrimental effects on the brain. Its high fructose content can be particularly hard on the liver, which then converts excess fructose into fat, contributing to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. This can lead to broader metabolic issues like insulin resistance, which, as we discussed, harms the brain. HFCS can also lead to increased inflammation and oxidative stress, directly damaging brain cells and contributing to cognitive decline. Studies have shown that diets high in HFCS can impair memory and learning, and it has been linked to a higher risk of developing dementia. The body processes fructose differently than glucose, and some researchers believe this difference may exacerbate its negative effects on brain metabolism and neuronal health. Where it hides, HFCS is ubiquitous in processed foods. It is a common ingredient in soft drinks, fruit-flavored drinks, candies, baked goods, sugary cereals, jams, jellies, salad dressings, ketchup, barbecue sauces, yogurt, and even some seemingly savory items like bread and crackers. You need to read ingredient labels carefully. Practical examples, comparisons. A single 20-ounce bottle of soda often contains 65 to 70 grams of high fructose corn syrup, which translates to about 16 to 17 teaspoons of sugar. This is an astronomical amount of sugar to consume in one sitting, far exceeding the daily recommended limits for added sugar. A serving of many commercial breakfast cereals might contain 10 to 15 grams of HFCS, equivalent to 2 to 3 teaspoons of added sugar, but often unnoticed because it is part of a breakfast. Many common condiments like ketchup can also be hidden sources. 2 tablespoons of ketchup can have 8 grams of HFCS, which is like adding 2 sugar packets to your meal. The sheer volume of HFCS in the standard American diet means that people are often consuming massive amounts of it without even realizing it, creating a constant metabolic burden on their brain and body. Healthier alternatives, swaps. The best way to avoid HFCS is to significantly reduce your consumption of processed and packaged foods. Choose whole, unprocessed foods like fresh fruits, vegetables, and lean proteins. When buying sauces or condiments, read the labels carefully and select brands that do not list high fructose corn syrup as an ingredient. Opt for natural sweeteners like small amounts of honey, maple syrup, or fruit when you need to sweeten things, and always in moderation. The goal is to choose foods that are naturally low in added sugars, including HFCS. Certain processed cheeses, the meltdown of health. When I talk about certain processed cheeses, I'm referring to items like individually wrapped cheese slices, cheese spreads, and some cheese-like products. These are very different from natural cheeses like cheddar, mozzarella, or Swiss. Why they are a silent killer. Processed cheeses often contain a high amount of sodium, saturated fat, and various additives, including artificial colors and preservatives, along with emulsifiers. These additives are not typically found in natural cheese. The high saturated fat content, particularly when combined with low-quality oils, can contribute to inflammation and unhealthy cholesterol levels, which in turn impact blood flow to the brain. The high sodium content, as we discussed, contributes to high blood pressure, a major risk factor for cognitive decline. Furthermore, some of the emulsifiers and preservatives used in processed cheeses may disrupt the gut microbiome, which, as you now know, plays a crucial role in brain health. While natural cheese in moderation can be part of a healthy diet, these highly processed versions offer little nutritional benefit and a higher concentration of potentially harmful ingredients that can contribute to systemic inflammation and poor brain health over time. Where they hide, they are prominent in pre-packaged slices for sandwiches, cheeseburgers, especially fast food, cheese sauces, like those used for nachos, and aerosol cheese sprays. Practical examples, comparisons. A single slice of processed American cheese can contain around 300–400 milligrams of sodium and 5 to 6 grams of saturated fat. To put that in perspective, if you put 2 slices on a sandwich, you are already consuming 600 to 800 milligrams of sodium, which is about a third of your entire recommended daily intake. This is similar to the sodium found in a serving of potato chips. Compare this to a slice of natural cheddar cheese, which might have half the sodium and similar fat, but without the added chemicals. The difference is in the purity and lack of excessive additives. The emulsifiers in processed cheese help it melt smoothly, but may have unknown effects on our gut health when consumed regularly, unlike the natural enzymes and bacteria in traditional cheese. Healthier alternatives, swaps. Choose natural, minimally processed cheeses in moderation. Look for aged cheeses like cheddar, Swiss, mozzarella, or feta. These generally have fewer additives and can provide some beneficial nutrients like calcium. Even better, you can opt for plant-based alternatives like nutritional yeast for a cheesy flavor, or dairy-free cheese alternatives made from nuts or seeds, ensuring they are also low in sodium and unhealthy fats. The key is to select real cheese that has gone through minimal processing, or to choose alternatives that are genuinely beneficial for your overall health, including your brain. Fried foods, the double whammy. Our final category is fried foods. This includes deep-fried items like French fries, fried chicken, donuts, and many other battered and fried snacks. Why they are a silent killer. Fried foods are problematic for 2 main reasons. Firstly, they are often cooked in unhealthy oils, such as partially hydrogenated oils, trans fats, or highly refined vegetable oils, like corn oil, soybean oil, or sunflower oil, that are high in omega-6 fatty acids. When these oils are heated to high temperatures for frying, they can form harmful compounds, including trans fats, acrylamide, and advanced glycation end products, AGEs. These compounds are highly inflammatory and contribute to oxidative stress, directly damaging brain cells and blood vessels. Secondly, the act of deep frying itself, regardless of the oil, makes food incredibly calorie-dense and often nutritionally poor. Regular consumption of fried foods contributes to obesity, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and insulin resistance, all major risk factors for cognitive decline and conditions like Alzheimer's disease. Studies have specifically linked frequent consumption of fried foods to poorer memory and a higher risk of dementia. They are a double whammy for your brain. Inflammatory compounds combined with overall metabolic disruption. Where they hide. They are obvious in fast food restaurants. They also hide in many frozen appetizers, like chicken nuggets, fish sticks, onion rings, some restaurant dishes, even seemingly healthy ones that are pan-fried in excessive oil, and many snack foods. Practical examples, comparisons. A large order of fast food French fries can contain anywhere from 15 to 25 grams of unhealthy fats, including saturated and potentially trans fats, and hundreds of calories. This is equivalent to the fat content of 2 to 3 plain hamburgers, but without the protein or fiber to balance it out. The amount of AGs formed in a single serving of deep-fried chicken can be significantly higher than in the same portion of baked or grilled chicken, potentially doubling or tripling the inflammatory compounds. Think of it this way. A single medium-sized potato baked might have about 1 gram of fat. That same potato, when turned into a medium order of French fries, could easily have 15 to 20 grams of fat, most of it unhealthy, and significantly more inflammatory compounds. This massive increase in harmful components puts a direct inflammatory and oxidative stress burden on your brain with every bite. Healthier alternatives, swaps. The best way to enjoy your favorite foods without the harm is to bake, grill, roast, or air fry them instead of deep frying. Use healthier oils like olive oil, avocado oil, or coconut oil in moderation for cooking. For example, instead of deep-fried chicken, try baked or grilled chicken. Instead of French fries, make roasted potato wedges at home with a drizzle of olive oil and your favorite spices. If you love donuts, try making baked versions at home or choose fruit for a sweet treat. These methods greatly reduce the formation of harmful compounds and significantly cut down on unhealthy fats and calories, making them much kinder to your brain. Now that we have explored the 10 foods that can silently harm your brain, let us shift our focus to the positive. What should we be eating to truly nourish and protect our cognitive function? The principles are actually quite simple and revolve around embracing whole, unprocessed foods. Think of your diet as building blocks for your brain. You want to provide the highest quality materials possible. Focus on fruits and vegetables. These are packed with antioxidants, which are like tiny warriors that fight against oxidative stress and protect your brain cells from rust. They are also rich in vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Aim for a wide variety of colors, as different colors indicate different types of protective compounds. Think dark leafy greens like spinach and kale, colorful berries, especially blueberries, which are fantastic for brain health, oranges, broccoli, and bell peppers. Eating at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables daily provides a steady supply of these protective compounds. A serving is roughly equivalent to 1 medium apple, half a cup of cooked vegetables, or 1 cup of leafy greens. Embrace whole grains. Unlike refined grains, whole grains retain their fiber, B vitamins, and minerals. Fiber helps to stabilize blood sugar levels, providing a steady energy supply for your brain. B vitamins, particularly folate, B6 and B12, are crucial for nerve function and protecting against brain shrinkage. Excellent choices include oats, brown rice, quinoa, barley, and whole wheat bread. Aim to make at least half of your grain intake whole grains. For example, choosing a bowl of oatmeal for breakfast instead of a sugary cereal, or brown rice with your dinner instead of white rice. Choose lean proteins. Protein is essential for building and repairing brain cells and creating neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers in your brain. Opt for lean sources like fish, especially fatty fish, poultry without the skin, beans, lentils, nuts, and seeds. Fatty fish, like salmon, mackerel, and sardines, are particularly beneficial because they are rich in omega-3 fatty acids. Let us talk about omega-3s for a moment, as they are incredibly important for brain health. These are healthy fats that are crucial for brain structure and function. They help reduce inflammation, support communication between brain cells, and are vital for memory and learning. You should aim for about 250 to 500 milligrams of EPA and DHA, the most beneficial types of omega-3s per day. You can achieve this by consuming 2 servings of fatty fish like salmon or mackerel per week. A single 3-ounce serving of salmon provides about 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of EPA and DHA. If you are not a fish eater, you can get some omega-3s from plant sources like flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts, but these typically provide a different type of omega-3, ALA, which the body converts less efficiently. A small handful of walnuts, about 1 ounce, provides roughly 2,500 milligrams of ALA, from which your body can convert a small amount into EPA and DHA. An omega-3 supplement, after discussing it with your doctor, can also be an option. Include healthy fats. Not all fats are bad. Healthy fats, found in avocados, nuts, almonds, walnuts, pecans, seeds, chia, flax, pumpkin, and olive oil, are vital for brain health. They help build healthy brain cell membranes and reduce inflammation. Aim to incorporate these healthy fats into your diet daily, perhaps by adding 1/4 of an avocado to your salad, sprinkling seeds over your yogurt, or using olive oil for cooking. Prioritize hydration. Your brain is about 75% water, and even mild dehydration can impair concentration, memory, and mood. Make plain water your primary beverage choice. Aim to drink at least 6 to 8 glasses of water throughout the day. You can tell if you are well hydrated by checking your urine. It should be pale yellow. Practice mindful eating and portion control. It is not just what you eat, but how you eat. Pay attention to your body's hunger and fullness cues. Eat slowly, savor your food, and avoid distractions like TV or phones. This helps you to better register when you are full and can prevent overeating, which reduces the metabolic burden on your body and brain. Portion control helps maintain a healthy weight, which is also beneficial for brain health. Beyond diet, remember that brain health is multifaceted. Regular physical activity, getting enough quality sleep, engaging in mentally stimulating activities like puzzles, reading, learning new skills, and maintaining strong social connections are all equally crucial pillars for a thriving brain. Think of it as a comprehensive approach. Nourish your brain with the right foods, challenge it with new experiences, rest it sufficiently, and connect it with others. So, as we bring our discussion to a close, I want to emphasize one powerful message. It is never too late to start protecting your brain. The cumulative effects of the foods we have discussed can indeed be silent killers, slowly eroding our precious cognitive abilities. But the good news, the truly empowering news, is that the opposite is also true. Every single positive food choice you make, every time you choose water over a sugary drink or whole grains over refined ones, you are actively nourishing, repairing, and safeguarding your brain. Even small changes consistently applied can lead to significant improvements over time. You do not have to overhaul your entire diet overnight. Start with 1 or 2 changes that feel manageable. Perhaps it is replacing your daily soda with infused water, or swapping out processed meats for lean chicken or beans a few times a week. Every step, no matter how small, is a step in the right direction. Your brain is your most valuable asset, and it deserves your attention and care. By becoming aware of the foods that can quietly harm it and choosing healthier alternatives, you are investing in a future of sharper memories, clearer thinking, and sustained independence. You are giving yourself the gift of a vibrant, active mind for many years to come. Remember, this journey is about progress, not perfection. Be kind to yourself. Celebrate your successes, and do not get discouraged by occasional slip-ups. What matters most is your consistent effort to make brain-healthy choices a regular part of your life. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this information has been helpful and empowering. If you found this video valuable, please consider giving it a thumbs up, sharing it with your friends and loved ones who might also benefit, and subscribing to my channel for more health insights. I would also love to hear from you in the comments below. What are your biggest takeaways from today's discussion? What brain-healthy changes are you planning to make? Your experiences and tips can inspire others in our community. Take good care of your brains, and I look forward to seeing you in our next discussion.